Alright, welcome back to Agent Training. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a quote on the Brotherhood Account Center. So this original screen is what you will see whenever you log into the Agent Access Brotherhood website. And if you can't get to this section, then you should talk to Bill. So after you get a login and a link to this website, what you should do is you should take a look around the website and just get familiar, because there's a lot of good resources on this website. But for this video, we're going to be creating quotes. So to do so, you would go to the account center up here. So from here, what I want to do is I want to create an account, because I'm starting new. I'm creating a new quote. Then you just want to fill out as much information as you can about the account. Alright, so I filled out some key information about the account, figure out the agent, the denomination. If you don't know the phone number, you can just use the office telephone number. That's not really urgent. You just got to fill out some of these fields. So then we're going to click Save. Alright, so this screen is going to pop up. It's going to just be more specific with the zip code. So we're just going to click Save, click the alternate one, and then Save. So then this is a duplicate address, possibly. Maybe I've made another account with this. So I'm just going to say, please create it. Alright, so now it gives me the screen. What I want to do is then I want to click on the property and liability and click on new quote. And in this case, we're going to do Ministry First CMP. We're going to do property and liability. If you have any questions what the difference between Ministry Essentials and Ministry First is, we will address that in another video, or you can just ask somebody. Press continue. So now I'm going to go through each general tab in several different videos, and we're going to start with the general tab. So now, as you can see, they filled out some information from the previous screen, a few things that we need to fill out. The first one is legal status. Most times it's going to be a corporation, as well as a non-for-profit. You also want to fill out the person that you interviewed, the title of the person you interviewed, and the date you interviewed. Once you are done filling out that information, you can just go up to this tab and then go down to basic. Alright, if you are the agent that is creating this quote, you're going to want to receive the correspondence concerning this application, so you will just want to pick yourself. In this case, I'm just going to pick Daryl. So now I'm going to talk about risk type and then related ministries. There are 5 common risk types that you're going to be using when with a church. First is obviously church institution. The second is church with a daycare institution. The second is a church and a school without a daycare nursery. The other is a school with a church and a daycare. And finally, a patriarchal school, which is a Christian school. So for this example, I'm just going to stick with church institution. So now I'm going to talk about related ministries. Related ministries are separate organizations that are operated by the church. They can be a different organization or corporation or LLC, but they still report to the church board. Most commonly, it's a school or a daycare. And if you pull this, it will have similar options as it did in this risk type. And so all you do is would pick one. Another option is a mission church. Say a mission church would be, for example, another campus of a startup church. So those are a couple of different related ministries. For this example, I'll just move on. So now you want to pick a policy effective date. You want to be careful which one you pick, because if you pick a certain date and you do not submit the quote, then it will expire after 60 days of creating this quote. So for this case, I'm just going to pick the 21st September. Is this a replacement of an existing Brotherhood policy? Sometimes you have this if you are creating a Ministry First account of Brotherhood that was previously a Ministry Essentials account. But most times you'll just be saying no. An important factor about these next two, quote needed by and desired premium, are that there are 2 things that underwriting is looking for. They use the need by date to organize their workflow, and they use the desired premium to hit a certain price. And ideally, you want to be 20% less than our competition. If you need a quote early, you need to make sure you pick a date that is in the nearby future. So in this case, I'm going to pick September 5th. And then the desired premium, I'm going to put 5,000. and then the rest is just generic information you have to fill out. So now I've filled out the rest of the information. I'm going to go back to the top tab and then go to billing. All right, now I'm in the billing section. Ideally, if you can get a customer to pay by electric funds or EFT, that's just easier to make sure that billing's on time. But that's just a preference thing, as well as billing. If you can make it either quarterly, semi-annual, or annual, it's more effective than monthly. Once you're done that, I'm going to go to the top tab and then go to insurance history. All right, insurance history. If they're a new church, then you would pick yes. If they're not a new church, then you would pick no. So in some cases, you won't know the insurance company you're competing with. Just a little heads up, if you pick Church Mutual because they're a number 1 competitor, you may get asked for loss runs, just a little heads up. And if they ask for a policy number, you can just put pending. That's a little trick to avoid underwriting, and they won't ask any questions about it. And then depending on your customer, you need to answer these questions honestly. In this case, I'm going to say no for both. Then once I'm done that, I'm going to go to the top tab once again and just go to loss history. All right, now I'm in the loss history section. Just a few things to note. The most common major claims or common claims you're going to have are fire and medical for slip and fall. If you have multiple losses or big losses, then your underwriter will likely ask for loss runs. Just a heads up whenever you're dealing with a prospect with a bad loss history. So in this case, I'm just going to say no for both. So finally, when I'm done that, I'm going to go back up to the tab and just go to profiles. All right, so this profile is going to be a little different depending on what your risk type is going to be. In this case, I just have a church. So what you would want to do is you want to fill out some basic information about this. So hypothetically, let's say I have a school in this as well. Another profile would have popped up. So let's just go back and do that example. That would be changed in the basic tab on the screen. So let's just go back there and hypothetically do that. We're going to change the risk type from church institution to church and school without a day nursery. So look, this will change the related ministries. Now we have patriarchal school here. So now we're going to go back to profile. As you can see, another profile has popped up, and you have some basic information you need to explain about the school. Take note of some of the things that are on these screens because they will affect some of the questions you ask the prospect when you meet with them. So in this case, I've filled out some information for both the church as well as the school and gone through the process and answered some of the questions. So finally, I'm going to go up to general and then just go to denominations and operations. And the only time you use this tab is when underwriter asks for it specifically. Otherwise, you'll just avoid it. As well as the attachment section, you won't really be needing that. All right, thanks for watching.